So I guess no matter how careful you are, sooner or later it's probably going to happen to you. But the last time we were out, I made a bonehead move and tied up poorly, and there was a sharp piece of aluminum on the side of the dock that gave me some pretty good scratches into the gel coat. Got a little one up here too. So I guess this will at least give me the opportunity to try gel coat repair. Did a little bit of research and read a lot of good stuff about this company called Spectrum that matches factory colors. So you just go out to the website. I entered my boat manufacturer, which is a Regal. You also have to enter the general color. So I entered gray, and graphite gray and stainless steel gray popped up for what I thought was the model year. Now I actually ordered this boat in 21, but the HIN number is a 22. There were actually two different colors specified for the steel gray for those two model years. So I emailed Regal's customer service, and they got right back with me and told me it's actually the 2021 color. So I went and ordered the kit, and yeah, hopefully it looks pretty close here. And cost for this kit, it was $53 and $5 shipping, and that's in October of 2023. So fairly reasonable. And this is a 2-ounce kit, so they had a lot larger sizes too if you really did screw up bad. But anyhow, 2-ounce kit, it should be plenty for this. And actually, this is a very simple repair process. I believe all I need to do is sand these out a little bit to rough them up and clean it, and then mix. There's a catalyst, a hardener that I need to mix with this, and smear it on there, and then just sand it and polish it, and hopefully it'll look good as new. So I'll go through those steps right now. Okay, step one is to sand with some 220 grit sandpaper. I've already started a little bit here. Kind of hard to do this with one hand, but I'm just supposed to rough these up. That way it'll give the gel coat paste somewhere to stick to. I actually did when I brought this home. I hit it with a polisher hoping I could clean them up a little bit, but instead you're supposed to keep them rough. So okay, I spent a few minutes sanding there with the 220 grit sandpaper, and the next step is to clean it with some acetone or alcohol, and I actually have some mineral spirits on this rag, so I'm just going to wipe that off. Okay, I got it all cleaned off. Now it's ready for the gel coat paste to be applied. All right, I might have got a little bit anal with my tape here, but what I decided to do is tape all the scratches off, and I actually have 2 or 3 layers of tape here, and I'm hoping, you know, that builds it up a little bit on the sides. That way when I run this chisel or a putty knife down, it will create a thin layer which will fill the crack, but also won't make it so tall that I need to do a lot of sanding afterwards. So anyhow, we'll see how this works out. All right, I'm going to mix the gel coat repair kit. Now this is a 2-ounce bottle, and the directions say you should mix at least a ½ ounce. So I'm going to try to get half of this out of here. You're supposed to mix it in a waxed paper cup. I think I have about half. And the catalyst that comes in the package, you're supposed to add about 10 drops to 1 ounce. Now mix thoroughly. Kind of feels like toothpaste. Would have been better to use a smaller cup. And I believe you have about 5 or 10 minutes to get this applied, so let's head out to the boat. All right, I'm going to try to apply this. Okay, now you're supposed to let this harden for 1 to 4 hours, but I think I'm just going to deal with it tomorrow. Okay, so it's actually 4 days later. Got busy with other things, so finally getting around to trying to get this sanded down and buffed out. Now what I did was actually right after I applied this, I did take the tape off. It's probably a little taller than I would have wanted, so I'll have to do a little bit more sanding, but the color match actually looks very nice. So hopefully if I'm successful here with sanding this down and getting it polished out, hopefully it'll look good as new. All right, in prep for sanding, I put tape back on, and I actually have it extended beyond the edge here so I can use a sanding block. I suggest using a sanding block instead of your bare hands. That way you don't over sand a spot. And also they suggest wet sanding here. So I'm going to go get a spray bottle with some water and dish soap in it to allow the sandpaper to clean itself out. So anyhow, first of all, they suggest 320 grit, moving to 400 and then 600. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to bore you with a bunch of sanding here, but those are going to be my next steps. All right, a quick little update on progress here. So I actually switched to 220. That was pretty hard to get off here. So, and I actually, over here, I took the tape off. It was just getting in my way. I got a lot more work to do here yet, but I did come up here and sanded that down. Once again, that's just with the 220. I'm going to go back over that with 300 or 320, then 400, then 600, then polish it. So anyhow, I'm going to work on this here a little bit more now with no tape. All right, another quick update. I'm done with the 220. That was the front mark, and then over here, it looks pretty well blended in. I can see a little bit right here where it was, but you know, I got to go on with some finer grit sandpaper here and hopefully get those few marks out, and then of course hit it with a polisher. But yeah, you can see where I've got it roughed up due to the sandpaper on the hull side here. All right, just an update where I'm at now. So I've used the 220, the 320, the 400, 600, and 800 grit. And as you can see, pretty much all that's left now is the scuffing from that last bit of sandpaper, but so far it's looking pretty good. So as long as I can get that polished out of there, I think I'll be fine. Now to polish it out, you can use your hands, but I buy products from Groits or Griots or whatever, so I have their D9 orbital sander here, or polisher. And then you need an abrasive pad. I use a white pad from Groits. And then you need a correcting cream. You cannot just use wax. Wax will not remove swirl marks. So you need something. This is still a little bit abrasive, but it should lift all of these right out of there. And I'd suggest getting a dual action polisher as opposed to a single action, because it'll help with swirl marks and stuff. So once again, you can use your hand, but if you got a boat, you should get a polisher. Alrighty, I'm done with the polisher. Then I actually switched pads and I put an orange pad on there with some ceramic all-in-one wax. So I'm really happy with how it came out. If it was actually right here below this blue tape is where the big scratch was. The smaller scratch was right in this area. So if I would have had that done at the shop, I'd actually be pleased with their work. So for someone that's never done this before, it was actually a very simple repair. And you know, I'm sure I'll get dock rash again. I guess I had maybe an hour and a half into this. Couple pointers. I would suggest using rubber gloves when you're mixing and applying it. It is ooey gooey sticky, and you'll need fingernail polish or gasoline to get it off your fingers. I guess the only other tip I have is between the sandpaper grit sizes, you should always rinse it with some vinegar water or something in a clean cloth to make sure you don't have any of the sandpaper pieces still in there. So anyhow, hope you enjoyed the video. If you got any questions, feel free to post them in the comments. Thanks.